Alright, looking good.
Way so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Yes, people, what's poppin'? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well. Really do hope that back in the studio for Chelsea news, and we have Chelsea news to speak about today, friends. Reports suggesting today is the day. Enzo Fernandez finally getting that surgery for his hernia problem, his abdominal problem that he's been carrying for a long time, and why that's actually good news. Kendry Pyers, Chelsea's wonder kid, winning man of the match with a wonder goal and assist against Endrick in the Copa Libertadores, despite being on the losing side, but wow. And because it's big part of the news at the moment, we're going to have to talk about Pochettino again. Narcanella of the Evening Standard writing about what the players think or feel about this situation, which many of you might not care about their opinion. They're not the most popular footballers in the world right now. Well, settle in, get comfortable. Thank you for joining me. I do appreciate all your support, as usual, and it's easy to support me. All you gotta do is like the video, comment, subscribe, hit the bell if you choose to subscribe, and share. Share the love. Alright then, let's get into it. Let's start off with Kendry Pyers then, the 16-year-old Ecuadorian wonder kid that is technically a Chelsea player, but not quite a Chelsea player yet. Of course, when he's 18, he signs the official contract, but there's a pre-agreement in place. Yesterday, he scored an absolute wonder goal and registered an assist as well, which saw him win the man of the match in the Copa Libertadores game. Of course, he's still only 16 years old. This is just headline-making stuff. Still, of course, we know already he's broken so many records for young players scoring in high-profile matches, whether that's, qualifying matches for Ecuador or if it's for his club. Scores wonder goals, registers assists. It's super exciting. He's obviously already been to Cobham a couple of times, trained with the Chelsea players a couple of times. He's already learning English, so when he does arrive when he's 18, he'll speak the language. He would have had these settling in periods at Cobham, at Chelsea. He's been to Stamford Bridge. God, I can only apologise for that, Kendry, with these recent performances. But yeah, it's something to be excited about. This is positive news. Of course, everyone's talking about Endrick, who was on the opposition side in this game. Naturally, he scored a couple of goals for Brazil recently. He's going to be a star. He cost 60 million. Real Madrid spent it. We were unwilling to spend that, despite him, I think, loosely agreeing to come to Chelsea. But we've got Kendry Pyers, mate. He's a year younger than Endrick, and he looks like a superstar as well. And remember, we only paid £17 million for Kendry Pyers. Now, you might be thinking, Jan, agreeing to spend £17 million for a 15-year-old is ruddy mental. And yes, that might be so, but maybe, ladies and gentlemen, maybe in a few years' time, we might look back on this project of investment of exciting young talent for less money and think, you know what? And hopefully for us as Chelsea fans, we'll say, you know what, they got it right. We've got some superstar talents coming through, whether it's like, Andre Santos, who does it excellent for Strasbourg at the moment, a Kendry Pyers, everything in between, it could come good, we could look very sensible, and actually the plan could become a success, and we can be very excited, and hopefully have some bragging rights in the future over superb talents that are performing really well for a long time at Chelsea, without slam dunking silly money on players and breaking transfer records with underperformers. So great news on Kendry Pyers. Speaking on breaking transfer records for underperformers, let's talk about Enzo Fernandez. Cy Phillips writes on his news website, some breaking news has come out overnight that is claiming that key Chelsea starter is about to have surgery on an injury today. Local reporter Hernan Castillo is claiming that Enzo will have the surgery today. And of course, Argentinian media have been speaking about this injury for a long time. Not so much English media, but it's been a rumoured problem that he's had this hernia abdominal problem, that he's been having injections before each game. Of course, he's not been performing well of late. But you know what? You might think, oh man, he's going to be out for the season, and that's a bad thing, we're already in trouble. I think this is a massive positive. Now, hear me out. The truth is, he hasn't been playing well, Enzo Fernandez. He hasn't. And our last 6-0 win, Conor Gallagher played in the double pivot. I'm not saying that's ideal for the rest of the season, but I'm just saying what I would rather is Enzo Fernandez has this operation now. He's out for the remaining games of the season. And this could sound selfish from his perspective and not helping Chelsea, but hear me out. So he'll be fit for the Copa America in the summer. I want Enzo Fernandez to have a good Copa America in the summer for Argentina. I want him to be revitalized. Remember when he signed for us after the World Cup, winning the World Cup, winning, Best Young Player award at the World Cup. Despite Chelsea being terrible under Potter and beyond, he was actually a really consistently good performer. But over time, he got this injury and just the mess at Chelsea sort of bled into his system. Remember, Enzo's had no rest for a long, long time. Playing in Argentina, Portugal, straight to the World Cup, straight for signing for Chelsea, with different league schedules. He literally just kept playing loads and loads of football and was flogged to death. Basically, kept playing as well. We played him every single game. It just did him no good. And that's probably contributed to this problem he has now, you'd have to assume. For me, obviously I want us to finish the season strong. There's still a very outside chance we can qualify for Europe. Naturally, I want that as a Chelsea fan, and you might be thinking we need everyone we can get. But the thing is, when he's playing this badly and is carrying this injury and is getting injections, it's just doing no one any good. It will be so much better for us if he gets the operation today, like it's reported he's having, recovers, has a good Copa America, revitalizes his footballing powers. Okay, I'm good again. I've been linking up with Messi and whoever. Does Di Maria still play for Argentina? They've still got an amazing team. And then comes back right, Enzo Fernandez, Super Saiyan, powered up, ready to go yet again. Let's hit this again. Let's, hopefully Nkunku's fit. Hopefully Lavia is fit for me to link up with the midfield. Chelsea have made a new signing or two. We're good to go. We know our weaknesses. We're hopefully rebuilding, whether it's Pochettino or a new manager. Enzo has a very high ceiling as a footballer. He's caught a lot of heat recently, but he's an excellent footballer. He's got, even though he's not fast, he's got tenacity, aggression, he fights, but he's got technical ability and he's got good game awareness and a high footballing IQ. It was written about recently how there's certain balls that he would want to play, but he just doesn't know the forwards are going to make runs because there's no continuity. That is a holistic coaching problem that we will, address over time. I want Enzo to get his morale back. I want him to get his mojo back. Copa America, Argentina is an opportunity to do that. He can go do well, I don't know, maybe win it. I'm sure they're one of the favourites to win it. Come back and be like, right, Chelsea, let's try this again. I'm here for a long, long time. I signed a long-term deal. I do want to play for Chelsea. Let's get this right. I'm in form. I'm in fitness. Let's do it. And for me, that's good news. That's a huge positive. And I want to see it happen because he's a massive investment for us. He's a huge asset. He can be excellent. And I think this is good news. Right then, so we've had good news with Kendry Pyers shining and developing and actually looking like a superstar, and I can't wait for him to join in probably what is a matter of months now. It's under 2 years. So, I think it's under 2 years. Anyway, point being, he turns 18 in under 2 years. So it's very, very exciting. By the time he arrives at Chelsea, we could, be really looking forward to what should be a superstar. Enzo finally getting that medical issue sorted out so that he can, go back to his positive trajectory and development. Let's now move over to the article from Nizar Kinsella talking about the Chelsea players and the Chelsea manager. Nizar writes, Pochettino retains the support of the vast majority of Chelsea players who would prefer some stability over another managerial change, which would bring further upheaval, of course. Understandably, Pochettino's future is under the spotlight after Tuesday's 5-0 defeat by Arsenal. European qualification could be a key factor in whether he keeps his job next season, with Chelsea 6 points behind United in 6th place and still in the mix for a spot for either the Europa League or Conference League. Yeah, I was really hoping Man United would lose to Sheffield, so we remained 3 points behind him. I think we still got a game in hand anyway, but you can always back United to mess up certain games, but Chelsea, they'd really need to sort themselves out. Interestingly, loads of people, non-Chelsea fans, broadcasters, analysts are saying, Chelsea would be mental to sack Pochettino. Less in the tactical sense, but more in the stability sense, and sort your squad out at, first with a guy they like, and then sort of think about refining your tactics to be the top team. Of course, if you haven't seen yesterday's video, I'd urge you guys to go check it out when we looked at the tactical thread from Euro expert from The Athletic, Tifo Football, Alex, really good analyst. Go check that out. That's really interesting when he expressed his concerns over Pochettino and Pochettino at Chelsea. Those factors remain, but many pundits and broadcasters are suggesting that it would just be sensible to stay with him for the moment while things are so, erratic, and, a lot of negatives from Chelsea have been from so much change. So trying to fix that with more change, I kind of understand how that would be a concern. Chelsea will review Pochettino's position in the summer when the Argentine will be involved in a two-way discussion and will push for changes after saying the club need to make some, quote, clinical decisions after another disappointing season. Co-owner Bedadik Barley and sporting directors Wyn Stanley and Lawrence Stewart will ultimately decide his fate. Pochettino is well regarded by most of the dressing room, with players keen for some much needed stability after 2 years of constant change and disruption at Chelsea. There is an appreciation among this young squad that Pochettino has shielded them from criticism and worked to foster team spirit in a group of new players from different countries. Many players accept they have frozen under pressure and struggled to adapt to the expectation of being one of the biggest clubs in the Premier League. Captain Reece James and Vice-Captain Ben Chilwell have been unable to exert as much influence as they had hoped due to injury problems. The many different languages spoken in the squad have led to cliques in the dressing room, but Pochettino still has the backing of most of the players. There is reportedly a feeling among Chelsea that Pochettino has been too soft on some of their inconsistent players and that a tough approach is needed. But influential board members also believe Pochettino deserves to remain in charge in going into next season, with the recognition he has been working with a tough set of circumstances. Injuries have hit Chelsea hard, and Pochettino is not responsible for the decision to build such a young squad or the uncertainty of the future's host of players, with the club needing to raise money, of course, with the PSR rules stuff. With injuries as well, I'm just going to pause there. Yes, the medical team needs a massive review, and we've all been very, very confused about that. And it does come from last season as well, so it's not just Pochettino. But I do wonder if Pochettino's training methods just red zones some of the players. There is a concern into that as well. I hope Chelsea, if they do conduct an investigation into the medical department, that they look closely and have an external investigation looking at Pochettino's training methods in case that is affecting the injury issues. So Poch has failed to win over many supporters, and his final 6 games of the season could be key to the feeling going into the end of season review. Pochettino has 12 months left on his contract, and Chelsea have also an option to extend a further 12 past that. Pochettino believes his methods will begin to reap rewards in the second season, like they did with a similarly young squad at Tottenham. As part of the end of season review, he will deliver assessments on each player, and his feedback could shape summer transfer plans if he is kept on. That's really interesting. So he's obviously going to present a case to the owners, sporting directors, and go for each player. Oh my God, what I would do to be a fly on the wall in that meeting to see what he said. I mean, obviously Cole Palmer and whatever, Conor Gallagher and Gusto, yeah, he'll be like, oh, look how good they are. But even though Nico Jackson's had a passable first season, and I can see loads of green shoots in him, I want to hear what he has to say about him, his weaknesses. I want to hear what Pochettino has to say when he makes his, spends 20 minutes talking about Mykhailo Mudryk to the sporting directors. What are you going to say then, man? What's your analysis, He could, I'd pay serious money to hear that. Discussions among senior Chelsea officials in the summer will also include talks about improving the nightmare injury record. So Chelsea fans all across the world will have differing opinions on this. Many of them will think he's too soft and we need to bring back a Jose Mourinho approach. Many of you will think, well, no, that's a sort of archaic, dusted approach that doesn't really work anymore. I'd be really keen to learn what approach Guardiola uses, because obviously he's very strict, but he's systemic as well. I don't know if he's cold, but I really want to learn. I mean, Ange Postecoglou, everyone sees him as this cuddly dad figure, the guy who looks like he's come around to fix your boy there and you can have a beer with, and he's just a good guy. So everyone thinks he'll be this arm round the shoulder, cuddly coach, but apparently he isn't. Apparently he keeps himself relatively distanced to his players in case he needs to make cold and calculated decisions, cutting them out. If he's playing daddy with them, interesting use of phraseology there, Jan. Then, he's going to feel bad about cutting them out. Really, really interesting. But I put it out to you guys, as always. What do you think? How do you feel about this end of season review of Pochettino and the players' position and etc.? Leave your comments on that. Also, feel free to talk about Kendry Pyers and, of course, Enzo Fernandez and his much needed operation. And do you agree with me? Do you think it's good he has it now and goes and have a good Copa America and then comes back refreshed? Or would you prefer he pushes through the season, misses the Copa America due to surgery? Because I should have mentioned that. If he has it at the end of the season, he can't do the Copa America. So let me know what you think. Comment down below. Thanks always for joining me. Thank you for liking, subscribing, hitting the bell, commenting, sharing, and all that lovely support. I hope to see you back here soon, mate. Take care. Peace.